pleasant night in Miami as the weekend starts. A holiday weekend starts. Marlins part with the roof closed and the AC on. Ready to go. Miami and New York opening up a weekend series. Hi everyone, Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. These two rivals not battling for the top spot in the division, trying to stay out of the basement. And the Fish and the Mets have seen each other a bunch this year. The Marlins have seen enough of R.A. Dickey to know that he's almost impossible to hit, especially this year. And they face him again tonight to open the series.
Yeah, they've seen enough. They're going to see him tonight, and they may see him again before this year is out. But R.A. Dickey in contention for that Cy Young Award. He goes for his 17th win tonight. Now, there are a few Marlins hitters that have had a little success, and there are some that have not had much success against R.A. Dickey. The ones that stand out to me when I look at that list, Greg Dobbs, who's such a pure hitter, just 2 for 14, tells you how tough hitting that knuckleball is. Carlos Lee, look at what he's done. 9 for 25, hit a home run against R.A. Dickey. Jose Reyes, remember Reyes had that 26-game hitting streak stopped, and it was stopped by Dickey. In that game, Reyes hit left-handed because that right-handed was still bothering him a little bit. The time before, earlier in the year, he hit right-handed off Dickey.
And in that ballgame, Dickey gave up just the one run. That was a Justin Ruggiano home run. Our Sir Pizza pitching matchup. There's R.A. Dickey. Look at the numbers. The strikeout numbers are incredible. On the other side, Nathan Eovaldi gets the start for Miami.
Yeah, Dickey 3-0 against the Marlins, too. Nathan Eovaldi actually threw the ball pretty well in early August against the Mets in a 13-0 win. He needs to find consistency in that delivery with all of his pitches.
You got a rookie, a right-hander, Eovaldi, looking to get some consistency, trying to get the Mets, and you've got the Marlins who are trying to solve the puzzle of R.A. Dickey, who might just be the Cy Young Award winner this year. An incredible story. He pitches tonight. R.A. Dickey and the Mets, Nathan Eovaldi and the Fish.
Welcome back, everybody. The Marlins and the Mets getting ready for the first of a three-game series. Nathan Eovaldi going after his fifth win, stock number 17 for the pitcher the Marlins picked up from the Dodgers. Back with Jeff Kona, and the Marlins will go against R.A. Dickey, 16-4 knuckleballer. He's had a great year.
Nate Eovaldi starting his 17th game. We got on the other side, R.A. Dickey going for his 17th win.
Yeah.
An amazing season in the top five in all three of the what they call the ERA wins and strikeout category, the Triple Crown, 4 complete games, leads the National League. Just having an outstanding year for the otherwise very unimpressive New York Mets.
Well, we talked with Carlos Lee, who had a conversation at first base with Dickey last time he faced him.
I asked him, I said, how you control if he goes inside or outside? He goes, I aim for the middle and let the ball do whatever he does. So I said, nice.
It's not easy to hit a knuckleball. I mean, specifically the kind of knuckleball that he have, he have like a couple different knuckleball. I mean, what's kind of fun for me when I was play behind him, but now I had to face him. It's not fun. He been great this year, so I feel happy for him.
Yeah, last time was a complete game performance against the Marlins. He's beat him at Citi Field. He's beat him here at Marlins Park. Let's see if the Marlins can have any different approach. Is there anything else you could do against this guy?
You just hope it's flat, and you hope it doesn't move as much as it normally does, and you might be able to get him.
Not too many times that occurred. He's only lost 4, and he's won, as Niner mentioned, 16 games, including coming off yet another one-run performance over 7 innings. All right, we've got Mets-Marlins Game 1 coming up. Rich and Tom, we love the call. Niner and I will join you for the postgame right here on Fox Sports Florida.
By Toyota. Visit your local dealer today for great deals on Toyota vehicles. Toyota, moving forward. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By Papa John's. Right now at Papa John's, get any large pizza, even specialties, for only $12. And by Nissan, get to Nissan for the biggest savings under the sun at Nissan's Summer Saving Days. Visit ChooseNissan.com. Mets and Marlins ready to go here at Marlins Park. The New York Mets arrive here having won 4 of their last 5, sporting a 61-70 mark. Terry Collins has kept his ball club competitive throughout. Ruben Tejada at short, Daniel Murphy at second. David Wright's having a terrific year. Ike Davis, power-wise, a nice bounce-back year after an injury-filled last season. Lucas Dudas in left. Mike Baxter's hit a couple of home runs in his last 3 games. Andres Torres in center. Josh Tolley behind the plate. And R.A. Dickey is on the mound. There's Nathan Eovaldi, his 17th start. Eovaldi at 4-9, 4.54 ERA. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. We're ready for the game. I'm set, and my partner just got the apparatus on his knee, ready to go.
Game ready. That's what it's called. We're game ready. You and I are game ready.
Meniscus surgery, what, 4 days ago?
Tuesday.
And here he is. What a gamer. Ready to go. Pinch a penny. First pitch. Our thanks to the Marlins training staff for bringing up Tommy's little ice buddy there. And the first pitch from Eovaldi is in. Scott Berry calling balls and strikes with Jerry Meals, Gary Darling, and Paul Emmel on the bases. Tejada has had to fill some big shoes, and he's done quite well. Pulls the ground ball to third. Dobbs backhands, flips it across the diamond. And Eovaldi has a quick out. And here comes Miami's defense.
And we'll check out that defense brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida, with Peterson, Ruggiano, and Stanton in the outfield. Dobbs making that play. He's at third. Reyes, Solano, and Lee. Donovan Solano has been really steady at second base. And the youngster Rob Brantley behind the plate.
Marlins brain trust on the rail there, watching Eovaldi catch the outside corner to Daniel Murphy.
I think, Rich, one of the things you and I are going to watch for, because we saw a little of it in Los Angeles in Eovaldi's last start, was a good fastball there, is that he repeats the same delivery when he throws the fastball, when he throws a curveball, when he throws the slider. There were a few little subtle changes before, and I think some of the Dodger hitters were picking it up.
Eovaldi picks that one up, flips it over to first in time. Major league hitters, and not just hitters at the plate, but it starts with the guys that you saw, the Marlins sitting on the front rail. Well, the Mets are all on the front rail right now watching Eovaldi, and they'll take an inventory of what he does with his glove, of what he does with his face, of what he does with his delivery. Does he hesitate? Does he slow it down? And then they'll take inventory of what pitch he threw. And if you are doing anything different when you throw an off-speed pitch, Major League hitters will find out, and they'll punish you for it.
Because there's no question in the times that we've seen Nate Eovaldi work, and he started 6 times as a Marlin, there's no question he has great stuff. There's a good slider right there.
And the Mets have seen him a couple of times this year, once as a Dodger and once as a Marlin. Here's the 0-2. And he misses outside.
And then we remind ourselves he's one of the youngest starting pitchers in the National League. He's 22.
Amen. Here's his 1-2 to right. And he gets right to pop up. Let's see if it's in play. Brantley comes over to the rail, and he makes a nice catch. Didn't get much help from Carlos Lee, but Brantley there to make the catch, and the inning is over. The Marlins get to face R.A. Dickey. And they line it up this way. Brian Peterson, Justin Ruggiano, who homered against Dickey the last time he faced him. Jose Reyes had his hit streak snapped by Dickey. Carlos Lee, as we showed you, has hit Dickey very well. Giancarlo Stanton has not. Greg Dobbs has not. Donovan Solano and Rob Brantley have never seen him. And Nathan Eovaldi hits ninth.
You know, there isn't a whole lot of preparation you can do when you know you're going to face a knuckleball pitcher. It's almost like if he has his best stuff, his best knuckleball, then you're in for a tough night. If it flattens out, as Niner mentioned, if he misses with his spots, if he maybe has to use his fastball a little bit more, then you have a little more of a chance.
And a strike opens the at-bat for Brian Peterson. R.A. Dickey working with Josh Tolley. Tolley, a guy that is usually behind the plate when Dickey throws. He's got that hybrid glove, which is part softball catcher, part first baseman's glove. Gloves that were designed by Steve Sparks, also a knuckleball pitcher and also a guy that threw a hard knuckleball. Dickey usually brings a bunch of them to spring training and hands them out to all the catchers.
As they all are running the other direction.
Ed says, here, you break them in, and if you need them, you got them.
He's done a real nice job. And talking with those who follow the Mets daily, they say that Tolley's done a pretty good job defensively handling Dickey.
Peterson swings and misses. That knuckler dances inside. Of course, the difference for Dickey and knuckleballs of the past, be it a Tim Wakefield, a Phil Necro, Dickey's knuckleball will get into the lower 80s, and it's a hard knuckleball. 2-2 coming. That one foul back, out of play.
Which really brings up a good point, Rich. He's 37, and a lot of people just assume because he's a knuckleball pitcher, he can pitch till he's 45, no problem at all. But as you said, he throws his knuckleball harder. So when the velocity comes down on his knuckleball, you wonder if it'll have the same effectiveness.
Tapper out towards second. Murphy makes the play, and he throws out Peterson. Here are the Mets defensively.
Yeah, they are brought to you by Cleveland Clinic. Lucas Duda, Andres Torres, and Mike Baxter in that outfield. Wright and Tejada, Murphy and Ike Davis. And we've been talking about Josh Tolley a little bit, handling R.A. Dickey.
Dickey's numbers this year really are incredible. The ERA at 2.76, 16-4. Ruggiano goes after the first pitch, and he bounces it out to Tejada, who's played a very steady shortstop. Just 9 errors this year for the young Ruben Tejada.
Well, we've talked a lot about R.A. Dickey. We might as well slip in the Coventry Healthcare Scouting Report. Cy Young, is he going to be there? Cueto has put on a nice run. Mortal in the second half. He was 12-1 the first half. He's 4-3 the second half, and he's been extremely durable. Oh, look at that ball move.
Now Reyes. Of course, Reyes in the third game of that series in New York had a 26-game hit streak, a sore thumb, and he had to face R.A. Dickey. Lines that to right field, and it's caught there by Baxter. Dickey got the best of him and snapped Reyes' streak at 26. A 9-pitch inning. H. Gray. Miami and New York. Coventry Healthcare second inning. First of a 3-game series. The Mets are in. Milwaukee arrives on the holiday on Monday for an afternoon game, and then stays in town for what will be a 4-game series. Here is Ike Davis. And Ike Davis takes a strike. Ike Davis last year was plagued by ankle issues the entire season. He had that bizarre double ankle injury trying to field a pop-up in Colorado. That was on May 12th, and that put him on the disabled list, and he was on the DL the rest of the year. He was having a good year at the time. He was hitting .302, 7 homers, 25 RBIs. And Tommy, the home runs have come back. The RBIs have come back. The average has not.
Part of the reason the average hasn't, he just got off to a horrible start. He hit 185 in April. He hit 154 in May.
Davis lowers the boom on that one. Ruggiano goes back, and Justin makes the catch. So an out here in the second, and that brings up Lucas Duda. I suspect that over on Mets television, Gary Cohn and Keith Hernandez, Ron Darling are having the same conversation that we've had over the last month about moving forward with the Marlins. Who's on the team next year? Where are the spots, the holes that they need to fill? And for the Mets, I think Ike Davis is a guy you can pencil in at first base. Lucas Duda is a guy that they like enough that I think you can put him in the outfield.
Yeah, he had a little stretch. They sent him down to Buffalo, to AAA for about 100 at-bats. But he's the guy, if you look in their outfield, that most likely you could say has a chance to be back there next year.
Still young. He's 26. And he swings through an Evaldi breaking ball.
Got a power bat. Good left-handed hitter.
They've got David Wright at third base. Tejada has played well at short. He's not Jose Reyes, but he's not a bad shortstop.
I think if you look at the Mets, if you don't do anything with Daniel Murphy, he could be there at second. He certainly is going to hit wherever you put him.
They're looking for some pop from behind the plate and in a couple of their outfield spots, and they need a center fielder. That's probably at the top of the Mets wish list. And some health with their starting rotation. They'd like to get Johan Santana back healthy and effective. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Got him. Breaking ball, and it came back and caught the corner. It's a good pitch.
I'll tell you what, so far, so good. Nate Evaldi has worked on things between starts, and he is throwing the ball extremely well. Fastballs, some sliders, some curveballs.
Here's Mike Baxter now. Baxter takes a fastball for a strike. Baxter has had a pretty good week here. He's hit his first 2 home runs of the year this week. His biggest moment this year came in Johan Santana's no-hitter. He made the catch in left field, then crashed into the wall, and that put him on the disabled list.
He went on the DL, and Santana was not the same after the no-hitter.
But you know what? You expect that from a tough guy from Queens. That's Baxter getting to play for his hometown team. Goes after that high fastball to left. Peterson is there. Nathan Evaldi's looked very good through his 2 innings. Giancarlo Stanton's coming up. Don't you go anywhere.
Es presentado en SAP por Coventry Healthcare of Florida.
Scoreless ball game. Mets Marlins. R.A. Dickey gets Carlos Lee, Giancarlo Stanton, and Greg Dobbs in the seconds. And Dickey's knuckleball there for a strike. Of all the Marlin hitters, this is the guy that has hit Dickey the best. But he's behind in the count now, 0-2, and that one really danced up and away.
When you see guys that have had success against knuckleball, you try to say, okay, what do they have in common? And I would think the one thing is that they don't have big swings. They're pretty short and they can wait.
Lee drives that ball in the air to center. Andres Torres is out there, and he makes the catch. That, in talking to a catcher, I remember Tim McCarver saying catching a knuckleball is similar to hitting a knuckleball in that you have to wait until the very last minute. You don't go out and get it.
You can't stab at it.
And the same as a hitter, you really can't go after a ball. You got to wait till the ball gets in on you. Here's Stanton now, and he takes up and in.
Now, one thing, if a knuckleball doesn't do anything and a guy like Giancarlo gets a hold of it, look out.
Stanton sends that one to right center. Baxter has it surrounded. And he makes the catch. Saturday Spectacular tomorrow. The Mets at 7:10. If you come early, you get an autograph session with the Marlins player. After the game, enjoy a fireworks spectacular. Head to the West Plaza for a live concert. 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com for tickets. So a pair of fly ball outs from Lee and Stanton. And Dickey is firmly in control right now. And here is Greg Dobbs. He pulls a sharp ground ball, diving stop. Murphy falling away, throws it away. It's going to be a base hit, you would expect. Dobbs is aboard. Murphy did a nice job to knock it down. Not a natural second baseman, and that's a tough play for a guy that is not.
Yeah, the ball looked like it popped out of the glove a little bit, and then when he grabbed it, he may not have had the best of grips. Hardest thing for a second baseman to do there is when he spins around is to pick up the first baseman, and he just threw it errantly, and it should. I agree with you. I'm not even going to look at the scoreboard. That should be a base hit, because if you've ever tried to hit a knuckleball, it ain't easy.
And my partner's tone should tell you that.
How about the degree of difficulty on a play like that?
They've given him an error.
Well, it's not an error. It's a base hit.
I've written a base hit in my book already.
And I ain't changing it. Don't change yours either.
I'm with you. All right, here's Solano.
Why does it always happen here?
Here's Solano.
This never happens to me on the road.
No. Swing and a miss. Solano here. Now here you've got, remember Reyes had a hit streak of 26 games, and it was snapped by Dickey. Solano's obviously isn't that long, but for Solano in his young big league career, this is a big deal. And he takes that one for a strike, a 12-game streak. Dobbs at first. Solano shallow center. Torres is there, and he makes the catch. It's a good thing my partner has a knee injury right now.
I'm starting to move, though.
transmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Marlins-Mets, scoreless ball game, hitless ball game. The error given to Daniel Murphy on that play, a degree of difficulty 8.5. When you got to throw a guy out and you're on your back, that's a difficult play.
Yeah, I think Roberto Alomar, he might make that play.
Here's Andres Torres. Josh Tolley, R.A. Dickey. And Eovaldi throws a strike. Meanwhile, back on the mound, Nathan Eovaldi has been very sharp. He's retired all 6 that he's faced. He's had another comeback, though he drops it. And Torres is a fast man who just gets caught by a step.
That's a nice job by Nathan Eovaldi to not panic. Ball trickled away from him a little bit. He knows that Torres runs well. Bare hand, plant, and fire.
Now, as you pointed out at the open of the telecast, Randy St. Clair working with Eovaldi to streamline his delivery, make sure it's consistent whether he's throwing a fastball, a changeup, or a breaking ball, just so he's not tipping his pitches. And it seems as if that is working. As well, it also seems as if it's got him in the strike zone with a lot more consistency than we've seen this year.
How many times do you hear pitching coaches and pitchers talk about got to repeat the delivery? If they repeat the delivery, you have a much better chance for command and better control. So I think in the process, yeah, it's helped that too.
Breaking ball up, and Tolley fouls it off. 1-2. Ozzie Guillen in the papers the last couple of days saying that both Nathan Eovaldi and Jacob Turner are auditioning for starting jobs next year, and that nobody is guaranteed a spot in the rotation. Which I think if you asked Eovaldi and Turner, they probably already knew that, but it's always good to hear that from a manager.
Yeah, I think they both realize that, and here we have tonight a 22-year-old pitcher and a 23-year-old catcher.
Sawed him off. Reyes gathers it in and throws him out. Now, R.A. Dickey.
So not too many batteries in the major leagues are this young.
Dickey stands in. He's driven in 3. One of those came at Miami's expense. Fastball is high. Dickey, very good athlete growing up, was a quarterback of his high school football team before going on to pitch at Tennessee. And of course, the infamous story, he was a first-round pick of the Rangers. The team physician noticed in a Baseball America cover shoot that his right arm didn't look quite right. They examined and MRI'd the arm and found that he did not have the ulnar collateral ligament in his right elbow.
They did a cover shoot of You and Me. Found a lot of things wrong.
Well, for Dickey, he had been offered a contract of $800,000 to sign. That offer went from $800,000 down to $75,000. The 1-2. And a lot of doctors were incredulous that how in the world can this guy do this without that? And Dickey said, heck, I've been doing it all my life. He was a great college pitcher. He was a quarterback and a very good quarterback.
I think one of the many challenges in his life that he's overcome.
Stanton comes in and he makes the catch. And Nathan Eovaldi goes 1-2-3 again through the Mets in the 3rd.
Great news. Want to update you on the Marlins organization. 2 teams are going to the playoffs. Another has a shot in Double-A. Show you what we're talking about. Greensboro already clinched the first half division. And a good job for Brent Keys hitting .340. Matt Smith, 19 homers. They're playing the playoffs. Jupiter will play, interestingly enough, the Mets single-A team in the Florida State League, St. Lucie Mets. Next week they'll start it. Yelich is hitting .321. Marcell Ozuna, a team record, franchise record, 93 ribbies. They've clinched first place. Jacksonville is only a game out in the Double-A Southern League with 4 to go. The Zephyrs had a tough finish, but a good season for them, 4 games out. Mike Cervenek, the veteran, hit .340. How about catcher Luke Mons, considered a journeyman-type catcher? He's 29, hit 29 home runs there in the Pacific Coast League for the Zephyrs. So very good. 2 teams, maybe 3 going. If that happens, it'll be only the 3rd time the Marlins have 3 teams above the short season teams going to postseason play in the minor leagues.
All right, thank you, Craig. Rob Brantley pulls a ground ball, first base side. Ike Davis flips it to first. I wonder how many times Rob Brantley has seen a knuckleballer.
Well, that's why it's always a challenge.
You just don't see him in the minor leagues.
Yeah, for a young hitter, you don't see them in high school. You don't see them in the minor leagues. So this could be the very first time he's seen a knuckleball pitcher.
Brantley pulls a ground ball. There are no hits in this ball game right now. And the ball that Greg Dobbs hit, Murphy made the diving stop. Rolling over, he threw it wide of first. That was called an error. So there are zeros on both sides. And here's Evaldi, who gets a standard garden variety fastball. And Dickey will throw one of those. And that separates Dickey from other knuckleballers. Dickey still can throw a breaking ball and a fastball. He did not become a knuckleball pitcher until Buck Showalter and Oral Hershiser sat him down in 2005 with Texas and said, R.A., I don't think it's working out for you. You might want to consider throwing the knuckleball you've been fooling around with full time. And Dickey said in about a 4-minute conversation, the course of his life changed because he decided, okay, I'll do it. And with that, he was shipped back down to the minor leagues to perfect the pitch. He banged around in the minors, got himself back to the big leagues. Seattle, a little bit with Texas. Last year with the Mets, he made 32 starts and was 8-13. Now the second time through, top of the order, Brian Peterson.
Been a little different road the second half of the season. Dickey was 12-1 before the All-Star break. Since the break, he's 4-3 and a little more normal earned run average of 347. But as we mentioned, he's 3-0 in his 3 starts against the Marlins this year.
Peterson fouls it back. Here are those first half, second half splits.
Well, he's been fairly normal the second half.
Along with the low ERA on the season, the numbers that are most astounding: strikeouts, he's 3rd in the National League. Walks, he's walked only 41, and this is start number 27. There's his 42nd walk. For a knuckleballer, Tommy, that's not supposed to happen. Knuckleballers traditionally will walk 2 or 3 guys at the very least per ball game because they'll lose that touch, they'll lose the feel.
He missed badly there. Now, when you get a base runner, there are a couple of things. First of all, he's really quick to the plate. He has a great move. But if you take off, it's tough for a catcher, who we just talked about. He can't go out and get that ball. He has to let it come to him. So sometimes you can steal bases that way.
The other trick for Dickey is that he has to, if he's gripped a knuckler, ungrip it to throw to first, because he can't throw the knuckleball over to his buddy Ike Davis.
we're talking about some of the numbers for R.A. Dickey. Johnny Cueto leads the league in ERA. Cueto with 17 wins. He's in the top 5 innings pitched. Gio Gonzalez with 16 wins. So you kind of look at those 3 guys as who people will be zeroing in on for Cy Young Award.
Ruggiano hammers that one into center field. There's the first hit. Peterson stops at second, and Miami has something going with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 3rd. Ruggiano, remember, he homered against Dickey the last time these 2 teams squared off. That was a masterpiece by Dickey, a complete game 6-1 win, and the 1 was a Ruggiano homer.
I don't know if you could tell, but as that ball traveled out to center field, it knuckled. And every once in a while a hitter will hit a ball like that, not necessarily off a knuckleball pitcher. But I thought it was ironic that from a knuckleball, he hit a knuckling type line drive into center.
Reyes pops it up. Tolley gives chase. And it's over the screen and out of play.
I don't know if you'll be able to pick up the... But it did jiggle back and forth.
A walk and a single. Reyes in his career 2 for 17 against Dickey. And he pops that one behind third, and it's foul. Wright giving chase. That would have caused all kinds of problems for the Mets.
I think we got the answer the first time up for Jose Reyes. Remember, we were wondering early in the year he hit right-handed, which a lot of switch hitters will hit right-handed off a knuckleball. But when we were last in New York, when Jose had the hitting streak going, he hit left-handed because of that thumb soreness.
And so tonight, either thumb soreness is still plaguing him or he feels more comfortable left-handed. He did hit the ball hard his first time up. And Dickey steps off. Oh, 2. Got him. A swing and a miss. Marlins strand a couple. And this game is still scoreless. Terry Collins spent that last half inning, actually the time between the half innings, chatting with Scott Berry.
Looking at the the baseballs. That's what appears they're talking about.
Now that could be because his pitcher is complaining about the balls. Dickey may not like the grip on the ball.
If the balls are a little slick, it would not be good for a knuckleball pitcher.
Or maybe the Met hitters don't like what they see coming out of Eovaldi's hand.
Yeah, by the way, a lot of pitches, a lot of strikes. 35 pitches first time through the order, first 3 innings, 28 strikes.
Both guys combined. There's a liner into right, and that falls for a base hit. Stanton picks it up. And Ruben Tejada has the first hit of the night for the Mets. A single to lead off the 4th. Daniel Murphy and David Wright coming up. Murphy lines one over Reyes' head. Cutting it off is Ruggiano. Speeding towards third is Tejada. And just like that, Nathan Eovaldi, who had retired all 9 that he'd faced, gives up 2 hits on 2 pitches.
This is similar to what we saw the other night with Jacob Turner on the mound. He breezed through the order the first time around, the first 3 innings. Second time around, guys picked him up a little better, started to have better swings.
And now the Mets are really set up because they've got David Wright up. Wright having a very good offensive year without a lot of help around him. And he takes outside.
Yeah, you're right. Jason Bay has fizzled. Ike Davis has had an off year, so not a whole lot of protection around him.
Our Cholula Hot Sauce spotlight player. He's done a lot of damage at the Marlins' expense. Hitting at .426. Murphy dives back in. The Mets don't have as much speed as they did last year. Obviously, Reyes a big reason why. And that has kind of changed the way Terry Collins has managed things. He's a very aggressive guy, likes to run. Right with a liner. Solano a leaping catch. And that holds everybody at the corners.
I tell you, this lately has really been the area of struggle for the Mets. They're just 8 for the last 58 now with runners in scoring position. Since August 1st, hitting below 170 with runners in scoring position.
And if you're wondering how did the Mets get off to a great start and hang in there so long, they did so much damage with 2 outs through the first half of the season. That was kind of their calling card offensively. Now Ike Davis. Now the infield with a ground ball can get out of this inning.
You got a guy who does not run well. So if he hits a ground ball at an infielder, a chance for 2.
Davis takes a strike. Davis flied to center. Back in the second. Nate Eovaldi with speed at third base with Tejada. Murphy's at first. And a quick throw. Tom Goodwin, the first base coach, with a few words for Daniel Murphy. There's Goodwin, good base stealer out of the Dodgers organization.
Yes, he was.
Breaking ball, 2-1. If you've just joined us, Nate Eovaldi making the start for Miami. R.A. Dickey on the mound, looking for his 17th win, and the Mets have a threat here in the 4th. Davis swings and misses at a high fastball, 96 miles an hour, and that's When you see a young arm pump it up to 96 when he needs it, that's impressive.
Yeah, and that 96 was by Ike Davis.
Two. That one didn't get by him. It's deep. Ruggiano back, makes the catch. Tagging is Tejada. He'll score. Murphy retreats to first base. So Ike Davis drives home his 72nd run. Second on the Mets to David Wright's 78.
Yeah, as we were talking about earlier, it's been an interesting year for Ike Davis. Career high in home runs, 72 RBIs, but because he got off to such an awful start, the batting average is down. Trying to come back from that strong rookie season he had in 2010.
High pop-up. Brantley tosses the mask and then darts to his right and makes the play. Nothing to it. Mets get the first run of the night and lead it 1-0. Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Bennett Auto Supply. Our prices bring you in and our people bring you back. By Coventry Healthcare of Florida, lighting the way to better health. And by the Florida Department of Transportation. Drive sober or get pulled over. Miami tonight. Mets 1, Marlins 0. Carlos Lee takes a knuckler in from R.A. Dickey. Marlins had an opportunity in the third. And Dickey was able to pitch out of it. Throws a fastball to Carlos Lee.
That surprised a lot of people, Carlos Lee included.
Dickey works quickly. Knuckler comes and it dances away. Carlos Lee flails at it. It's 1-2. Same pitch. Lee took this one. Marlins got a walk from Brian Peterson, a single from Justin Ruggiano with 2 outs in the third. But Jose Reyes struck out to end the inning. And now Lee strikes out to open up the bottom of the fourth. It's the fourth, so we do some trivia. We flip the phone, and the AT&T trivia question is, who is the Mets' all-time wins leader versus the Marlins?
You can't go back too far.
No, but 93 is as far back as you can go.
Yeah.
And you try to think of a Mets starter who was in the rotation as Stanton bangs one into left field for a base hit. You try to think of a starter that was in the Mets rotation for a good span of 5 to 8 years.
I think Santana probably has missed too many starts.
Greg Dobbs. Dobbs reached on an error. He hit the ball into shallow right. Then Murphy tumbled after and then threw wildly at first.
Mike Hampton's name came up, but he wasn't there long enough. You know, in talking to Dobbs about his approach against the knuckleball,
Dobbs busts his bat. Murphy has no chance at this one, and it's going to land for a hit unless, of course, the official score gets Tommy riled up.
Now, don't
again.
get me started. Don't get me started. But sometimes you get a little benefit that time. So he got jammed. But Dobbs' theory, very similar to a lot of other hitters. But the first thing he said was try to look middle of the plate and then try to hit middle of the field with the knuckleball. And obviously if it's up, and you hear that all the time, if it's high, let it fly. If it's low, let it go. So a lot of guys have that theory.
Here's Donovan Solano. How about Chris Benson?
Oh, that's a good guess.
And I brought his name up just so I could mention his wife, Anna Benson. Roller to third, Wright hustles after it, throws across the diamond. That's a terrific play by David Wright. A heads-up play. 5-3 on the double play, and the inning dies just like that. The Marlins don't. And the answer to you want to
how about Bobby Jones? Remember the right-hander Bobby Jones?
So Bobby Jones and Chris Benson.
And they got a Fresno State.
Our best
Bobby
guesses.
Jones.
Oh,
See?
Al Leiter.
Wow, you know what? I think that's the second time Al Leiter's been the answer to one of our AT&T trivias, and we've not guessed him. He's going to start getting upset with us.
The nice thing about Al, though, if he gets upset with you, he doesn't stay upset with you. Evaldi with a big breaking ball for a strike. Mike Baxter leads it off. You've got Andres Torres and Josh Tolley right behind him. A run on 2 hits and an error for the Mets. Miami has 3 hits. That one pulled foul. 2 very different styles of pitching. Evaldi, a hard-throwing right-hander out of Alvin, Texas. Yes, that's Nolan Ryan's hometown. Was headed to Texas A&M and then signed with the Dodgers 2008. Dodgers had drafted him in the 11th round. Most speculated that he would have been drafted higher if A, he had not had Tommy John surgery when he was a junior, and B, had he not committed and said he was going to Texas A&M. So he waited until the 11th round, and no, his high school coach didn't shut him down 2/3 of the way through his senior season.
Even though they were going to the playoffs.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. And it misses up.
You know what? You think about a young player, and we mentioned Nate Eovaldi, 22. It's been a big change, a big transition. You're young, you've been in one organization, the Dodger organization, and all of a sudden you're involved in a pretty big deal for the Dodgers, and you're the centerpiece going from L.A. to Miami. And young guy, he's married, to settle in with your family, to be with the ball club that you weren't with in the spring. It's a big adjustment.
Teammates you don't know. I'm sure with the Dodgers there were veterans that he was leaning on. That pitch misses low, and Baxter on his way down to first base. And so Eovaldi with the first walk that he's issued. You, as a rookie coming up, you certainly lean on veterans in the rotation in that clubhouse. And to be picked off one team and sent to another where you don't know anybody, that has to be quite jarring.
And your first trade is always the most shocking. And I guess we saw this guy in L.A. If you're a Mike Morgan, after a while, it doesn't bother you at all. You go from team to team.
Andres Torres fouls it back and out of play. That's got a run in the 4th. Ruben Tejada, Daniel Murphy open with base hits. Murphy's chased Tejada to third, and Ike Davis knocked him home with a sacrifice fly to deep center field. That one to center field. Ruggiano, who has looked quite comfortable out there this year, makes the catch. The all-you-can-eat seats at Marlins Park include a Vista-level ticket, unlimited hot dogs, nachos, peanuts, popcorn, soda, and water for just $24. Or you can upgrade to the Legends level for $34. The next all-you-can-eat game is on Monday, September 3rd, as the Marlins take on the Brewers on Labor Day at 1:10. Eovaldi has an out. Tolley takes a strike. Eovaldi's pitch count very comfortable at 57 as he pitches here with one out in the top of the 5th.
Boy, and certainly not the case at Dodger Stadium his last time out.
That one leads Reyes right to the bag, steps on it, flips to first.
Thing of beauty.
That's a 6-3 double play. And a brief appearance by Nate Eovaldi in the 5th. Bottom of the 5th, 1-0. Now Miami in this ball game has had some hits against Dickey. They had 2 hits in the 4th, had 2 base runners in the 3rd. But Dickey struck out Reyes to end the 3rd and got Solano to hit into a double play, and that ended the 4th. Here's Rob Brantley now, the rookie catcher. He's got Nathan Eovaldi behind him. And then Brian Peterson up at the top of the order. Dickey misses outside. I'm glancing at the scoreboard thinking to myself, something's wrong with the iPad, because some of these games in the Central are in the 1st inning. Brantley lost his bat and it's 1-1. Then you remember, well, the pace of this one is just flying.
One of the things I was glancing at was the Phillies Braves box score to see if Jimmy Rollins was in the lineup, and he is, but he had to be taken out again by his manager, Charlie Manuel.
Hats off to Charlie Manuel.
Yeah.
Brantley swings and fouls that one into the glove of Josh Tolley. And Manuel has done that before with Jimmy Rollins, and Jimmy has not complained about it.
He did it here.
To Jimmy's credit, when Charlie has done it, Jimmy has said Charlie was right. Even Ryan Howard in the paper said the same thing. Swing, and it pops out of the glove of Tolley. Brantley on his way to first, and Tolley will throw him out. So the rookie is 0 for 2 against Dickey, and now here comes Eovaldi. Yeah, 1-0. Phillies on top of the Braves in the bottom of the 3rd. The Nationals are off to a great start against St. Louis, 6-0. That's only in the bottom of the 3rd, and that's an Adam Wainwright start.
All of a sudden, if you noticed, Harper had the 2-homer game here. He hit a home run last night against the Cardinals. Got himself a base hit tonight, so all of a sudden Bryce Harper getting hot. It should be enough for Gio.
That would be win number 17 for Gio. Two and 1 to Eovaldi. Ground ball, base hit. Nathan Eovaldi with a single to left.
Yeah, it's his 3rd hit this year, but 2 have come as a Marlin. And he got that ball, had nice top spin, was able to sneak it past the shortstop, Tejada.
Tico, the People's Gas, brings you the standings. You can see the Marlins and the Mets and the Phillies all grouped at the bottom, and the last month of the season will decide who gets out of the cellar. And the Nationals lead is back up to 5.5 games in the East. So Eovaldi a hit. Here's Peterson. Peterson walked back in the 3rd. He pulls a ground ball wide of first. All my son's moving and storage poll question. Do you think the Marlins will finish ahead of the Mets this season? 71% say yes. 29% say no.
They'll come into this series 2 games behind the Mets.
Peterson pops it up. Dickey gets the 2nd out.
Marlins have this series here against New York, and then one more series against the Mets over the weekend, back looking into September 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. And Rich, this is the last day of August. This is August 31st. This is Labor Day weekend.
It's amazing. Ruggiano pulls one to 3rd, right across the diamond, and R.A. Dickey has been splendid in this one. 5 solid shutout innings in the books.
Sixth inning, and this is our Mike's Hard Lemonade interview. And this is the first time I've ever interviewed a bear in a bikini. And this is Sam, the bear spokesman. Hello, Sam.
Hi, how you doing tonight?
What's the deal? Bear doesn't have great camera presence. Maybe look in that direction and maybe do a little twirl. Could you twirl for us? Let's see, the bikini is a little low here, folks. But it's less on than a Clevelander model.
Well, the bear in the bikini this summer, she got cooped up in the office all summer and wanted to break free while summer was still here and celebrate the weekend in Miami. And it's great to be here at the Mets Marlins game. But
a contest, right?
It was a contest. So it was a sweepstakes. We all summer we wanted to celebrate our fans, and it was a way for the fans to have an all-expenses VIP trip to Miami for Labor Day weekend. So the bear has been showing them around. We hit up South Beach. We went out on a boat.
Wait, the bear knows hot spots, you're saying, in South Florida?
The bear knows Miami. She's very well connected. She knows what's going on. We went out on a boat. We went looking for manatees. She scared them, though, I think, unfortunately.
But the bikini probably scared them.
Yeah, the bikini's pretty scary. But yeah. So then we hit up South Beach. We're here at the game, and then we might even hit some clubs later on tonight. But you can learn more about her at bearinabikini.com.
I figured she had a website. What do you think of the Clevelander bear? You like the Clevelander? Watch the microphone. Okay. All right, one more twirl. Friendly. Guys, what do you think of the look here?
Craig, when you did wrestling, wasn't there a wrestler that used to wrestle a bear?
Yes, well, Bruno Sammartino, I think, once actually did. You're right, he wrestled a bear.
That's right. I'm just trying to bail you out of this at this point.
Thank you.
All right.
So
this is like the hook on my. Okay,
So did Ron Burgundy. No, that wasn't Ron Burgundy who wrestled the bear.
Yeah. Very thrilling. Thank you, Bear. You were terrific.
That was
Bear. A few words, and Sam, thank you.
Great to meet you. Thanks very much.
Back to you guys. Great bikini. Woo!
Giancarlo Stanton is there, and he makes the catch in right field. I think that was Jackie Moon.
Jackie Moon, yeah.
In the what was the name of the Will Ferrell movie?
The basketball movie.
Well, he was in
Semi-Pro basketball.
ABA or whatever it was. He did wrestle the bear. Semi-pro. Jackie Moon. And of course, it was Ricky Bobby that wrestled the Panther, wasn't it? Or the Bobcat? You're right. It's almost September. Evaldi misses down low to Daniel Murphy.
This is what makes, for us and hopefully for fans watching, makes it fun to watch a guy like Nate Evaldi work the way he's working tonight. Because it shows you the kind of stuff he has and what he can do with just making adjustments. He's got a nice pace going, too.
Evaldi misses away. Both pitchers have been outstanding in this ball game. And Eovaldi, who struck out 7 Mets back in July as a Dodger, has just 1 strikeout in this ball game. But he's getting a lot of quick outs. Ruggiano wanders over and makes the catch. And the Mets are done in the 6th. That's an 8-pitch inning. On top of the Marlins in the bottom of the 6th, Ike Davis's sac fly scored the only run. Nathan Eovaldi retired the first 9 and gave up a run in the 4th, and that's it. Evaldi's been outstanding. R.A. Dickey has been even better because the Marlins don't have a run. They have 4 hits through the fish, but Miami has left 5 on base.
Nate Eovaldi, 67 pitches.
How about
in his 6 innings of work?
And R.A. Dickey's at 57 pitches.
It's incredible.
Reyes, Lee, and Stanton here in the bottom of the 6th.
Well, R.A. Dickey, we talked about his durability. He's gone 6 or more innings in 24 of his 26 starts.
.30 pitches in. Reyes tosses the bat. We saw Dickey ask home plate umpire Scott Berry where it missed. And Berry said in. Here's a look, the BB&T Fox tracks, and Scott Berry was all over that at bat. He didn't throw a strike in the whole AB. Now Carlos Lee. Boy, you'd like to maybe give Reyes a chance to steal second here before Dickey gets to work, but he doesn't give you a lot of time to get your lead and get out there.
He's so quick to the plate. And then we've seen his move. He's so quick to first base.
Lee's flied out and struck out. Reyes, not a big lead. There's the move, and Ike Davis, very good left-handed first baseman, very good at catching and swiping that tag. Reyes bluffs, Lee swings and misses and strikes out.
No, the bottom line, and that last pitch is a great example. And to a good hitter, Carlos Lee's a good hitter. If that knuckleball dances and does what R.A. Dickey wants it to do, you can't hit it. That ball moved everywhere. And give Josh Tolley credit for catching it.
Stanton swings and misses. And it's 0-1. Stanton smacked one into left for a hit, and he's flied to right. There's that quick move. True about just about every knuckleballer that comes around every 5 to 10 years. They are very good at all the little things.
They've all been. If you go through the names, go through Phil Niekro, Charlie Huff was excellent at fielding his position, holding runners, quick to the plate.
Wakefield. And it was Huff who was first brought in to work with Dickey in the Texas organization. And both Phil Niekro and Tim Wakefield have been guys that Dickey's been able to lean on as Stanton goes down swinging. And Dickey has struck out Carlos Lee and Giancarlo Stanton. Reyes is still stuck at first. And here comes Dobbs, and there are 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th.
Well, we've talked about it before. It's a very small fraternity, very close-knit fraternity.
No hazing.
No hazing in the knuckleball fraternity.
Mets have a shift on for Dobbs. And Reyes dives back in. See, Daniel Murphy is playing at almost the exact spot where he dove for the ball that Dobbs hit that was ruled an error back in the 2nd. Reyes inching away, not running, and Dobbs swings and fouls it. The fastball knuckleball differential for Dickey is about 3 or 4 miles per hour. His fastball is 81, 82, and his knuckleball is 78, 79 in most cases. He will throw a little slower knuckler. And every now and then he'll flip up a curveball.
Not sure we've seen it yet tonight.
He hasn't needed it tonight. Reyes said before the ballgame it was fun to play behind him, as he did last year, but no fun to face him. He was leaning, he's picked off. So Reyes picked off by Dickey, and that's R.A. Dickey at his best. A walk, 2 strikeouts, and then he picks the guy off. And this is our Coors Light Freeze Cam Team Photo Day here at Marlins Park. Top of the 7th, this one is motoring, and that's because Nate Eovaldi and R.A. Dickey have been splendid on the mound. Eovaldi gets David Wright now with Ike Davis and Lucas Duda. Top of the 7th in a 1-0 Mets lead. Wright is 0 for 2. He's popped to the catcher and lined to second. That one fouled back and out of play. Wright has a shot at a Mets record. Bernard Gilkey, of all people, holds the Mets all-time record for doubles in a season with 44. That was back in '96. And Wright has 37 already.
Yeah, when you say Bernard Gilkey, I think of Gilkey with the Cardinals. I know he was with the Mets, but I think of him with the Cardinals.
Yeah, he and Ray Lankford were two guys that came up together at the same time in the Cardinals outfield. Broken bat, Solano busting it, and he just misses it. It trickles in front of Ruggiano. David Wright gets a broken bat hit. Solano did all he could. Mets have their 3rd hit.
Yeah, this is a good pitch. He saws off David Wright, but Wright just strong enough to get it over the outstretched arms of Solano.
Now you've got Davis. He may have hit the best ball of the night for the Mets. That bullet of a sacrifice fly back in the 4th inning to deep center.
You talked about that ankle injury of Ike Davis's last year. Limited him to just 36 games. He was in the running the year before his rookie season. Had 19 home runs, 71 RBIs. For that Rookie of the Year award that Gabby Sanchez. So those two first basemen, and you think about their travels since and how it isn't always that easy after a strong rookie season.
We think about a Rookie of the Year 3 years removed, Chris Coughlin.
Yeah.
Wright's at first. He's got a dozen stolen bases. Slow breaking balls hit high and deep to right field. Stanton back, and that one's leaving this place. Into the home run porch. 25th home run on the season for Ike Davis. 18 have been on the road. That's an amazing number.
Well, it looked like he got that curveball from Nate Eovaldi, who's made good pitches all night. Probably was up a little bit. Let's see, there it is. Wow. Belt high, and that sweet left-handed swing taking it into the home run porch. Hanging curveball, home run number 25.
Randy St. Clair out to talk to Eovaldi now. And a 3-0 lead feels like a 6-0 lead the way R.A. Dickey has pitched. Wade LeBlanc in the bullpen. You see the road home run numbers. That's one more than Giancarlo Stanton has. So Davis has hit 25 all year. Stanton has 29 total home runs. Lucas Duda up right now. And then you've got Mike Baxter and Andres Torres. Nobody out. 2 runs across in the 7th. Smacked on a pop. Solano backing up on it. Fires to first. And there's out number 1. You can still pick up a 4 for $54 pack for a Marlins game. It includes 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 sodas, 4 bags of chips for just $54. The next 4 for $54 night is on Tuesday, September 4th. Marlins and Brewers at 7:10. Come on out and see Ryan Braun and the Brewers. Individual and group packs available online at marlins.com.
Now you're supposed to say, come on out and see Jonathan Lucroy. With the big game he had, what do you have? Grand Slam, 7 RBIs. Braun hit number 36 the other night.
Solano dashes over, cuts off the Baxter ground ball. And Eovaldi gets 2 ground ball outs after the 2-run homer to Ike Davis. Milwaukee at home tonight against Pittsburgh. And the Brewers have jumped to a 4-0 lead in the bottom of the first. There's no question that the Brewers can score runs.
I think Ricky Weeks the other night had a 5-hit game. Yeah, offensively they're on fire.
Corey Hart has homered tonight, a 2-run homer. He has 25 on the season. You know who's had a nice year for the Brewers and maybe lived up to the expectations, and that's Aramis Ramirez. Ramirez has driven in a couple tonight. He has 84 RBIs this year.
Giving some protection to Braun. A lot of people were wondering how he would perform without Prince Fielder.
Eovaldi's fallen behind Torres 3-0. And he fires in a strike. Torres, an injury-filled year. Coming over from the Giants. Miami ties. He played at Miami-Dade Community College. Ruggiano in, then over, then back, and he makes the catch. But a hanging breaking ball that Ike Davis loses turns this into a 3-0 Mets lead. Marlins Park. Phillies Bunch tomorrow, 11 a.m. presented by Players Edge Baseball Academy. That's tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. R.A. Dickey, who threw a complete game and beat the Marlins when he faced them up in New York, is at it again. In fact, this time he hasn't given up a run. In that ball game, Dickey gave up the 1 run. That was a Ruggiano home run. Here, he's gone 6 scoreless innings, giving up 4 hits.
Well, we've talked about the success he's had against the Marlins. 3-0 this year. He's 8-2 in his career. And in the 22 innings going into tonight, so you add 6 to that, 28 innings, he's given up just 4 runs. To show you how he adjusted, remember when he walked Reyes to lead off the 6th inning? He struck out Carlos Lee on 3 pitches. He struck out Giancarlo Stanton on 3 pitches. And then he picked off Jose Reyes.
Dobbs takes outside. The count's 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Dobbs has a hit. He also reached on an error. Dickey misses up. 3-2. Dobbs, then Solano, Brantley, pitcher spot. Dobbs waited on that one and then pulls it into the seats.
This is where, in the back of your mind as a hitter, especially if you're not a Stanton or somebody like that, you say, okay, it's 3-2. Dickey has a 3-0 lead. Maybe I'll see the fastball, just maybe. And he doesn't. He's seen 2 straight knuckleballs. That's the kind of command that R.A. Dickey has of that pitch.
Of course, Dickey in the offseason making headlines, climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, releasing an autobiography. The 3-2. Dobbs. Murphy has it, and this time he makes the throw because he was on his feet. And Dobbs is out.
The amazing thing tonight for Greg Dobbs, the 2 balls he's hit hardest, one was an error supposedly, and the other the out. The ball he kind of flared out to right field, dropped for a base hit.
Solano now, while Dickey has been the headliner in this one, and Ike Davis certainly has been the focus. For Miami, Donovan Solano in a 12-game hit streak is 0 for 2. And he got a fastball, 84 miles an hour.
And how ironic, we talked about it earlier, it was Dickey who stopped Reyes' hitting streak.
All-time rookie hit streaks. And it's amazing. You look at that, and look who's at the top of the list. Edgar Renteria.
And guess where he's from?
The same place as Donovan Solano. Barranquilla, Colombia. The 1-2. Fly ball right field. Baxter over and there and makes the catch.
And I'll tell you, if the Marlins can't generate any more offense, Donovan Solano's hit streak might be over if he doesn't get another chance.
Now Rob Brantley.
Trying to hit a knuckleball is tough enough. Trying to pinch hit and hit a knuckleball even tougher with Austin Kearns in the on-deck circle.
Wade LeBlanc. That one fouled back and out of play. 0-2 to Brantley. Dickey looking for win number 17. He's thrown 4 complete games. That's best in the National League. Terrific play there, and Murphy throws to first in time. R.A. Dickey shutting out the 5th. shutting out the Marlins. Just 4 hits for both teams. The difference for the Mets, they have some big hits. The biggest, the 2-run homer by Ike Davis. Davis also with a sacrifice fly. So he's knocked in all 3. Wade LeBlanc takes over as Nathan Eovaldi, who started this game, pitched well, ends up going 7 innings.
That 7 innings ties a career high for Nathan Eovaldi. Went 7 innings earlier this year in a ball game against Milwaukee. But it's very frustrating. It's as well as we've seen Nate Eovaldi pitch, and unfortunately he leaves the game trailing 3-0.
Breaking ball popped third base side, Dobbs over, and it's out of play. Josh Tolle, and you've got Dickey due up next, and Dickey just now emerging on deck. LeBlanc with a fastball, swing and a miss. And so Wade LeBlanc, who's pitched well wherever Miami has used him this year, gets a strikeout. Here is Dickey. Then you got Ruben Tejada coming up.
I love the way LeBlanc, who has that good changeup as well as the breaking ball, he'll still just show a hitter enough fastball as he did to Tolle to get him.
Dickey goes after the first pitch. Solano makes the catch. Boy, whether it's Eovaldi, Dickey, or LeBlanc, no one's wasting any time tonight.
You would think that the Mets players have reservations over at Joe Stonecraft.
This feels
they're going to make it.
This feels like either the last game of the season or the last game before the All-Star break, where umpires generally tell hitters if it's close, it's a strike. And guys swing at it, and you get 2.5-hour games. Ruben Tejada. Dunn and Godin. That hit him. You could hear it clip the jersey of Tejada. It's going to bring Murphy to the plate. Washington still has that 6-0 lead over the Cardinals. That's now in the bottom of the 5th. If you were to give an MVP on the Nationals, who would you give it to? Because I'm telling you, one guy I would give strong consideration to.
Is the guy who I think homered tonight.
Adam LaRoche.
Yeah.
He has 82 RBIs.
And at a time, remember when Zimmerman was on the disabled list? LaRoche seemed to carry him. Early in the year, Mike Morse wasn't playing. He was on the DL. Jason Worth has missed time on the disabled list. But LaRoche has been pretty steady. I totally agree with you.
Some might vote for Scott Boras. Fouled out of play, and it's 0-2.
Well, evidently, from what we read today, Davey Johnson sat down with Steven Strasburg and said, okay, 2 or 3 more starts, and that's it.
See, you think for ways around it if you're Strasburg, and you think maybe a 2-week bout of the flu with side sessions.
A mysterious stomach virus.
Don't want him around the team for a week. Because if you just push him, I mean, if they had just pushed him at some point in the season, a couple of starts, all of a sudden he's pitching in October.
I think if there's any mistake that they made, that's where it is.
Yes.
I mean, I understand them limiting him and trying to be careful with their huge investment. But, and I don't agree with the ones who say well, you could have started him in May, because you don't know. They could have gone 6-20 in April, and all of a sudden they're not in the thing. So, but once you got to where you were, yeah, I think you could have done that.
The Nationals would answer they didn't want to upset his routine.
It would have also upset everybody else's routine, though, too, in the rotation.
It's a good point. LeBlanc, 0-2 pitch. Some nice plays out there at second. Solano's turn after Murphy turned in a couple. To the bottom of the 8th, 3-0 Mets.
Dickey pitching yet another great game against the Mets. He's the focus of our Toyota Inside Look. The knuckleballer coming into this game at 14 games where he pitched at least 7 innings and allowed only 1 run, one of the best marks in Mets history. And here's a look at some of the great knuckleballers of all time. And Dickey's numbers for a single season are right up there with some of the best, including Eddie Cicotte. His name's been pronounced a bunch of different ways, for the 1919 Chicago White Sox, and better known from the Black Sox scandal and 8 men out. Interestingly enough, that year he won 29 games, did Eddie, and he had a bonus to win 30 games. His salary would go from $6,000 up to $10,000, a $4,000 bonus. The owner, though, Charles Comiskey, ordered the manager, Kid Gleason, not to pitch him down the stretch, and he never got a chance to get that 4,000 extra bucks to knock the salary up to 5 digits. Guys, back to you.
19, Greg.
Well, maybe that's why things turned out the way they did. Austin Kearns is pinch hitting.
Boy, he saw a fastball there, too.
Kearns. And then top of the order, Brian Peterson, Justin Ruggiano. In the bottom of the 8th, in a 3-0 Mets lead. And Kearns takes a fastball up. Steve Cishek, Miami's bullpen. There's a fastball there at the knees.
It's one of the few times, one of the few hitters that's actually seen 2 fastballs within the at-bat.
That one dips low, and you saw Dickey's knees buckle just a little bit when it was called the ball. Kearns took it. That's a gutsy take by Kearns.
Yeah, it is. Very close. Very close. Because it could have come over as a strike. It dipped so far at the end. But number 6 just out of the zone.
Now you got Peterson up, and Peterson has walked in 3 trips. Dickey works so quickly, and he almost quick pitches you at times when he comes to the stretch. and barely stops. He's very good at varying his delivery. And he buries 2 strikes at the letters. It's 0-2. The Marlins have all of 1 run against R.A. Dickey in the last 2 times they've faced him. The 0-2. That one misses outside.
You were talking, Rich, about where he stands in some of the pitching categories. He's also tied for second, or tied for the league lead in shutouts. Kershaw, Hamels, Matt Cain, Adam Wainwright, Santana, and Dickey all with 2.
Peterson lines it left center field. Torres is there, and he makes the catch. Andres Torres has great range in the outfield, and that certainly helped him run that one down.
That was as good a hit ball tonight by any of the Marlins. The ball hit well, slicing. For a moment you thought it might slice away from Torres, but a good jump and good speed. He gets there.
Now Ruggiano. Ruggiano has bounced out twice. His single came in the 3rd. The Mets bullpen is active. Bobby Parnell, Josh Edgin. Ruggiano, that one's going to fall. And it lands in front of Torres. Second hit for Ruggiano. The Marlins have had multiple runners on twice against Dickey, back in the 3rd and in the 4th. In the 3rd, he struck out Reyes to end the inning. And in the 4th, he got Solano to bounce into a double play. That ended the inning. Dan Worthen, the pitching coach for the Mets, is on his way out.
Reyes hit a ball hard back in the 1st, lined out to right field. So he put a good swing on Dickey in that at bat. And for Jose Reyes, his goal, and it's going to be a tough goal to reach with as many at bats as he has, he still would like to get to 300. Of course, he had 264 the first half, and he's hit close to 320 here the second half of the season.
So Reyes and Dickey. And Dickey misses in. These 2 hitters, Reyes and Carlos Lee, Dickey has handled. In fact, Reyes walked in the 6th inning. Dickey then promptly struck out Lee, struck out Stan, and picked Reyes off. That's way outside. He seems like, Tommy, he's losing
a little bit.
Yes.
And you have the feeling that Terry Collins, the Mets manager, is seeing that, noticing that. That's why he has his bullpen busy.
2-0 pitch, and that's low.
Some patient at bats too this inning by the Marlins.
It'd be an interesting decision for Collins too if he loses Reyes, because Carlos Lee has looked awful against Dickey. Dickey just comes in with a fastball there to get a strike. Now the question is, Tommy, he couldn't throw a strike with a knuckleball. Does Reyes get another fastball?
I think you take a shot and you look for it this time. What do you have to lose?
He got it.
Got the fastball. Now you're not sure. I think with a big home run hitter, had Stanton been up there, you probably wouldn't have seen the fastball.
Now it's 3-2. Ground ball. Davis goes to second, gets an out there, and that's it.
You mentioned it earlier, Rich. Ike Davis, very smooth over at first base. He knows he's not going to get the double play, but he wants to get that run and the out at second base. So he just takes his time and made a perfect throw.
And so Terry Collins is managing here, Tommy. The guy on the mound has a 3-0 lead. He's thrown 100 pitches. But what I think he's managing by are the at-bats that Lee has had against Dickey tonight.
Tonight and not in his career.
Right. Coming into his career, coming into tonight, 9 of 25. Lee drives it to center, and Torres is there, and Terry Collins was right. R.A. Dickey gets out of it and hangs on to his shutout. And a half conversation in the Mets dugout, and I'm sure it was about, are you good enough to go out and pitch the ninth if needed?
Most managers will want to touch base with the pitcher, especially if he has a shutout going. Not too concerned about the complete game, but the fact that Dickey has the shutout going, I'm sure Terry Collins presented it to R.A. Dickey that way.
Now, in talking about throwing a knuckleball, and oftentimes with Tim Wakefield, they said pitch count really didn't matter. But as you pointed out early in the broadcast, Dickey throws a hard knuckleball, so there's a little more stress on the arm.
Yeah, I think in his case it matters a little bit more.
David Wright, Ike Davis, and Lucas Duda for the Mets, and it's Steve Cishek in for Miami.
It's a good outing for Cishek. The last couple of times he hasn't been as sharp as we've seen it. And so I think with the score 3-0, it's not a safe situation. His club trails by 3. I think this is a good outing for him to go out and get back into that nice consistent mode we saw him in.
Wright fouls it off. Frank Francisco, Mets closer.
Just in case.
Wright's hit was a broken bat bloop job, and that came just before the blast of Ike Davis. Davis has driven in all 3 Met runs tonight with a sacrifice fly and then a 2-run homer. Both of those came against Nathan Eovaldi. 7 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs for Eovaldi.
Sometimes you'll hear guys on the bench say all we need is a bloop and a blast. Well, the Mets got a bloop and a blast in the 7th inning.
If Dickey's night were to end right now, his ERA is down to 2.65. Swing and a miss. Cishek strikes out David Wright. And I know we've been talking about possible Cy Young Award candidates. Johnny Cueto.
Cueto's at 248 right now.
Gio Gonzalez. Gonzalez pitching tonight, and he has a healthy 8-0 lead. He's throwing a 3-hit shutout right now at home for the Nationals against St. Louis.
I'll tell you what, though, another complete game and another shutout for R.A. Dickey would look real good on that Cy Young resume.
That one goes to the screen. Ike Davis with the Warren Henry drive of the game. And that's, of all the pitches that Nathan Eovaldi threw, that's the one he'd like to have back, that hanging breaking ball. And so Davis fouls it back.
Nathan Eovaldi threw 85 pitches, and 84 of them were really good. And it was probably the worst one he threw all night. Sometimes you make that mistake and the hitter pops it up.
You see Cishek putting his hand down on the mound, trying to get a little something on that hand after missing so badly. The count's 2-2. 1 out. Top 9. Lee over, has it, waits for Cishek, and flips in time for the out. Marlins Live presented by Checkers comes your way, and then afterwards Prep Zone, also presented by Checkers. And some high school football for you. St. Thomas Aquinas versus Columbus. That is tonight on Fox Sports Florida. That's from Sun Life Stadium. Part of the crack staff down there right now.
Just to show the versatility of the crack staff.
Lucas Duda.
Did you see the numbers that Chris Medlin put up for the month of August? I mean, Medlin and Felix Hernandez should be pitchers of the month in the National League and American League.
You know, Medlin is similar to Steven Strasburg in that he had Tommy John surgery, but
yeah,
I don't think it's by design in terms of managing the injury, but he ended up in the bullpen to start the season. And so pitch count and workload wise, he's fine down the stretch.
Yeah, he's fine. He was 4-0 with an 0.50 ERA in August.
And he has been a real boost to the Braves. And if the Braves do get to October, then you got a guy like Medlin who suddenly becomes a real interesting variable that the Mets didn't have, or excuse me, that the Braves didn't have in April, May, and June.
And he's pretty fresh.
Carlos Lee spears it. Lucas Duda is out. Miami's down to their last 3 outs. 3-0 Mets. right now. 3-0. R.A. Dickey taking a shutout into the bottom of the ninth. The Brewers arrive on Monday. Remember, it's a 1:10 start. All-you-can-eat seats are available for just $24. Wednesday at 7:10, fans get an opening night canvas print courtesy of Pepsi. It's a 4-game series, which concludes on Thursday at 12:40. And please remember that on Thursday there is no television. Jason Bay is in left field. Giancarlo Stanton is at the plate, and here goes R.A. Dickey looking for his 5th complete game. So far he has shut down the Marlins. If Dickey can finish without giving up a run, it'll be his 3rd shutout of the season. Stanton just hammers one foul. Two and one.
Tell you, when it dances and dives that way, extremely tough.
He seems to have dialed it back in after an unsteady 8th.
Then it takes off the other way.
He strikes out Stanton for the 2nd time. Here comes Dobbs now. Dobbs has had the best swings of the night against Dickey, who's at 106 pitches.
Most he's thrown this year, he's thrown over 100 a few times. The most he's thrown was in his complete game against the Marlins, 118 back on August 9th.
Dobbs flips one into foul territory. Oh and 1. Marlins live right around the bend. And we'll get you out to Sun Life Stadium for St. Thomas Aquinas and Columbus. A big time matchup in high school football tonight. Solano next, then Brantley. Miami looking for base runners against R.A. Dickey. 0-2. Dobbs takes in the dirt.
So it very well could be Donovan Solano's last shot to keep that hitting streak alive.
Dobbs drives one to right. Over for it is Baxter, and he makes a running catch.
Well, you're right about Dobbs. All 4 times he squared up the ball. To square up a knuckleball is not easy to do. I think we've seen that. And he's done it all 4 ABs.
And has just 1 hit to show for it.
Baxter almost took the wrong route to get to that ball.
Solano now, and he takes a strike. So the Marlins down to their last out. Solano's 0 for 3, a 12-game hit streak, and Dickey within an out of his 3rd shutout, his 5th complete game. And as Tommy pointed out, another nice entry on what might be a Cy Young resume. One and 2. R.A. Dickey at his very best tonight. And he got him.
Well, he just tossed that slow, that 63 miles an hour. Just flipped up the slow knuckleball like he was throwing a little BP.
And remember the conversation that he and Terry Collins had between the 8th and the 9th inning? Dickey said, hey, I'm good to go, and boy, was he ever. His third shutout of the season. His 5th complete game. And the Mets are rolling right now. They have won 5 of their last 6. 3-0 the final here tonight in Miami.